I am Okocha Happy Marcel. Today is Wednesday, 10th of July 2024. Nigerians are not happy as the Nigerian Chief Justice swears in Wike's wife, Ebuka, and 21 others as appeal court justices on Wednesday, and 12 for the federal high courts. It is no longer news that there is cancer in Nigerian judiciary because of the miscarriage of justice that we are witnessing almost every time. At the time, it happened on the floor of the Senate, where a northern senator stood up in the Senate floor and confessed how he uses his wife, who is the president of the appeal court, to swing justice for his colleagues, for them to win an election, even though the people did not vote for them.
Particularly my wife, whose freedom and independence I encroached upon while she was in office. And she has been very tolerant and accepted my encroachment and extended her help to my colleagues.
Distinguished, please, I don't think this is a good idea, go in this direction. It's not a good idea. It's not a good idea, please.
So because of all these experiences, Nigerians are not happy with people who are close to politicians to become justices or judges of our courts. Hearing that Wike's wife is now a judge or a justice of an appeal court, it sounds so bad to our ears because Wike is not a Democrat. He's a kind of person who have been using judiciary to swing justice to make sure they turn constitution upside down. So people are feeling that if his wife today now become a judge, it will be more easier for him to manipulate the electoral process. The Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Olukoyade Ariwanda, has sworn in Ebuka Suzette Wike, wife of the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, and 21 others as judges appointed to the Court of Appeal. The CJN also sworn in 12 legal practitioners appointed as judges of the Federal Capital Territory High Court. The ceremony took place on Wednesday at the Supreme Court, marking an important milestone for the judiciary and the country's legal system. A statement made available to journalists by the Director of Information and Public Relations at the Supreme Court, Dr. Akande Festus, identified those that were sworn in or inaugurated into the bench of the Court of Appeal as Abdullahi Mohammed Lima from Nasarawa State, Abiodun Azin Akinyemi from Ogun State, Olukoyade Adegbonda Adeyemi from Oyo State, Zainab Bage Abubakar from Kebbi State, Isaac Mohammed Sani from Kaduna State, Latif Babajide Ndawa Akbo from Lagos State, Ngozika Yu Okai Sabo from Imo State, Donatus Nwazuoke Okoronkwo from Enugu State, Rakiat Oremei Ayonda from Kogi State, Pondikap Terma Kwahara from Benue State, Ebuka Suzette Nyesom Wike from Rivers State, Fadawa Omaru from Borno State, Onyewumi Onyejoju Onyebionda from Oyo State, and Ntong Festus Ntong from Akwa Ibom State, Nehizena Idemodia Afondabi from Edo State, and Nnamdi Okwi Dimabi from Abia State.
Continent must do it. Today, many times when I think about my continent, this continent of Africa, this mother continent, this continent that is the cradle of human civilization, this continent that has known abuse by the slavers, this continent that has been colonized, this continent that has known neocolonization, this continent that has known apartheid, this continent that is the home of all minerals known to man, this continent that is the home of rivers that produce waters, this continent that has over 1.4 billion, this continent which is great in prospect, but this continent which is at the lower rungs of the ladder, this continent, I think of her, where our leaders How can it be that in the 1940s we fought that we may drive out the colonizer, and the colonizer is coming back again? How can it be? How can it be that 60 years ago we regained our independence and our young men and women are now fighting to go to the land of the colonizers? How can it be? How can it be that 28 years ago you slew the giant that was apartheid, but there is still apartheid of an economic kind? How can it be? How can it be? And how can it be that we are comfortable in that environment? How can it be? It cannot be right. How can we claim that we are devoted citizens when those realities confront us on a daily basis? How can it be? I hear cries across the continent of Africa. I hear cries from Dakar in Senegal. They are asking, how can it be that we cannot feed ourselves? They are asking in Dakar. They are asking in the Gambia, how can it be? The same question is asked in Sierra Leone, in Burkina Faso, in Mali, in Benin, in the Democratic Republic of Congo, in Sudan, in South Sudan, in Somalia, in Mozambique, in Botswana, in Lesotho, in Eswatini, in South Africa. They are asking, how can it be? How can it be that every other civilization comes to our continent and takes away that which they desire and leave us in deprivation? They are asking. They are asking, how can the world order be of such a nature that the French can come here and do what they will and go away without consequence? They are asking, how can the British come here and do what they will and leave without consequence? They are asking, how is it that the Americans can come here and do what they will and leave without consequence? They are asking, how can the Turks come here? How can the Arabs come here, do what they will and leave without consequence? And they are asking, why? How can the Chinese come here and they do what they will and leave without consequence? They are asking, how is it that the world order is arranged that when we of the African continent appear in world bodies, whether it's the WHO, we have no vaccines when we are sick. When we appear at the United Nations, we can vote all we want, but a single European country can veto all our votes and neutralize us, giving meaning to the unfortunate situation that we are indeed lesser human beings. How can it be that when they meet as G7 and decide for us, we are not there unless we are invited for a photo opportunity? When they meet as G20, we are not there unless we are invited for a photo opportunity. How can it be? How can it be? Where are our leaders, we ask? How can it be? Where are our leaders in all these? What are they doing about it? What are we doing about it? What must we do about it? Why is it that we have leaders and we cannot feed ourselves because there is a war in Ukraine? How can it be? How can it be that when we have COVID, the claim to fame of our political leaders is that they become multimillionaires and we don't have vaccines? How can it be? How can it be that we have hostels and all equipment is imported from other civilizations? How can it be? How can it be that we have schools in which we have no faith? How can it be that even our airlines fly aeroplanes that are made by other civilizations and we cannot even run them? How can it be that a matter that is not rocket science, such as the provision of electricity, whether you are in Johannesburg in South Africa, or Abuja in Nigeria, or Accra in Ghana, or Nairobi in Kenya, or Bujumbura, or Ouagadougou in Burkina Faso, we cannot provide electricity for our men and women? How can it be? How can it be that we have all the 33 currencies in the world, with the rand, with the metal, with the shilling, with the naira, with the cedi, with all dollars, and those currencies mean nothing? The only currency that we accept as hard currency is the American dollar. How can it be? How can it be that when I travel to Africa, the only credit cards that I have are the Visa and the MasterCard and the American Express, and that we have no card of our own? How can it be?